All right, so this is going to be a little bit of a different kind of video. We are going to be, this is going to be kind of like some flashlight modding, but just like basic modding. This isn't going to be anything crazy. So let's go ahead and take a look. This is the LM10, and we're going to do a couple things. Roll the intro. Okay, so now that's out of the way. All right, so I'm gonna lay down a couple of. Did you like the surprise intro? Just just figured I had to throw it in there. I didn't know where I was gonna do it, so I just figured I'd spontaneously do it. So I'm just gonna lay this down. This is just going to protect my little mat here. So what we're gonna do today is, like I said, a little basic, but for the most part, it's gonna be fun. Let me get some stuff out of my way here. I was prepared, but not all the way prepared. Okay. So what we're going to be doing here is a couple little things. So we've got some Lumintop green. Where are they? There they are. We've got some Lumintop green vials, fluorescent vials. They are not tritium. These are the actual Lumintop branded ones, though. Here is a, oh god, I'm so bad at trying to say these lenses. Coral Co. It's a 10507. So this is a more of a spot beam than the standard lens that comes in here, and this is also a clear lens and not frosted. And if you saw Jackson Lee over at JLHawaii, he drilled out the posts and inserted some of the green luminous tubes, glow vials, whatever you want to call them. So I've been buying a lot from this guy. Not a lot. I shouldn't say a lot, but I've bought quite a few things over the past couple of weeks from Jackson Lee over at JLHawaii. Here you go. Here is his contact information. He sells anything and everything flashlights. I mean, literally anything and everything. So I was messaging him on Instagram, and that's, I kind of told him the things I wanted, and he was kind of telling me what I needed. I'm also going to put in some sapphire crystal glass on this bad boy. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started. I've already removed the battery, so there's not going to be a battery flopping around in here. So for the first portion of this, let's go ahead and do the lens and the glass. So with the LM10, all you're gonna do is unscrew this top part, and I like to do it this way so the glass doesn't come flying out. There we go. So here is your AR coated glass. There that is. See how easy that is? And then here is our sapphire crystal. So we'll just lay this on the table for now. And let's go ahead and take care of this lens. I've got some little just like tech tweezers here. There we go. And you can see all the holes in here. Those are just different those are just the holes for the posts. Said I am not an expert. I watch a lot of videos. I take in a lot of information, and then I like to do things myself. So that's where this is coming from. I wish I would have wore like a small pair of gloves. Try not to get my grimy little mitts all over everything. Just a little bit of pressure to make sure it's seated. Looks flush. And here you can somewhat see the difference. You can see how this one is frosted. The other was not. All right, so I'm just gonna put the old lens in the little bag. And here is the old glass. You can tell because you see how it shines kind of purpley. Get that out of the way. I'll actually probably put that in the same bag. I'm a little OCD when it comes to stuff like this. If I'm working on something, I'm putting things away as I'm doing it because I don't want to confuse myself and then, you know, put an old part back in, anything like that. So let's go ahead and just clean some fingerprints off of this guy. How's that look? Does not look fingerprinty, so that's a plus. All right, this is the one part that I hate doing. What is that? Is that a little tiny scratch? Yeah, it is a little bit of a scratch on my lens. We'll see if I can see it after everything's all put together. Oh, drop my glass. And then we're just going to ever so careful. Okay, there we go. He is back together. All right, so the second part to this, let's go ahead and, you know what, first we'll just do a small test and we'll make sure that this is working. We should get a blink letting us know we have power. There it was. And there you go. So it is still working. Well, you know what? I probably don't even need to. So let's go on to the second part. So what we're gonna do here is I've got a little bit of alcohol. Blame it on the alcohol. So all I'm gonna do right here really is just get a little bit of alcohol on my microfiber and just kind of wipe this stuff down. We're going to put this in lockout. There. Kind of hard to get in there and clean. All right. So next we need our UV resin and a UV light. So this is the part that is going to be fun. So here are our tubes. Go ahead and see if I can get these up on out of here. Okay. There we go. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. LM10 will hold 9. So what we'll do is just take one for a test fit. And these might actually be a little long. Maybe. Let's see. We're going to have to... Probably once I put the epoxy in there and press them in, probably won't have any issues, but I always just like to check before I jump into a project. Yeah, so that should be fine. We'll find out here in just a second. Let's go ahead and slap some. We'll start with the top. Go ahead and put a little bit of epoxy in here. And all we want to do is just do about a quarter full. So I'm really just going to do like a couple little beads and then spread it out. if any of this stuff wants to come out of here. There we go. A little goes a long way with this stuff. Trying to see. Okay, that should definitely be enough. All right, so let's take one of these little vials. And see, that was, I put in too much. There we go. And then I'm going to do some more. There we go. I'd rather do too much than too little. I'm one of those. Remember, I'm a maximalist. I've got a little, let's see, there we go. And we'll do this one right here. This is probably going to be a long video. You knew what you were getting into when you saw the title of this. All right. That one might need to be trimmed. No. Okay. It did kind of squeezy poo in there. And then these are kind of big, so I'm thinking I might just put a little just glaze over the top. Okay, now the fun part is we hit this with UV light and we let it sit on there for about 30 seconds to a minute, and this will harden. And it's pretty instant how it works. It's actually kind of cool. But yeah, so that's all we're gonna do is hit this with the UV light, let these dry, double check to make sure everything's working properly, and then we'll do the light, or we'll do the UVs around the light, or the UVs, we'll do the vials around the light itself. All right, let's see. I think that looks pretty good to me. We'll just hit it just for another second. Okay. All right. So let's call that good for a second. There you go. All right. So let's see. Let's go ahead and tackle these on the side now. We'll probably do this in pairs of 2, I think. So we'll do, oh, camera's not focusing. There we go. So we'll do 2, 2, 2, 2, and then 2 and 2. So let's go ahead and do that. So we'll go ahead and get I got the epoxy out of range of the UV light. Okay. And Go ahead and drop that in there. These are kind of seeming like they're a little oversized. I probably could cut them to fit, but yeah, so is what it is for me. I don't really care to cut them to fit, so we'll wipe. And you know what I probably should have done is I probably should have planned for this a little better and taken off my pocket clip. I'll just do that real fast. That way I can make sure none of the epoxy is getting underneath that clip. There. Because I definitely got some of my polish under that clip. There. Okay. I honestly may just tackle these one at a time. I like to hit just a little bit more across the top, just to fill in any of those gaps, especially with these being a little bit more oversized, because who knows if I'm 100% reaching the epoxy on the bottom. So I'm just going to clean off around where I dropped this one in, and then we will harden this one. Pretty. All right, and just to show kind of what I'm using, so I picked this epoxy up on Amazon because the Norlands is kind of impossible to get right now, and I saw some good reviews on some Reddit flashlight forums, people using this epoxy and saying that it was just as good as the Norlands. I doubt that is the case. But 9 times out of 10, if it's good for somebody else, it's good for me. So I decided that I would give it a shot. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's hardening right up. All right. Go on to this next one. And you can see I'm using it in a squeeze bottle. That's just these little squeeze bottles. I think I picked up from Harbor Freight. Love me some Harbor Freight. But I knew the nozzle on that bottle was going to be just entirely too big, so I just went out and bought something with some smaller nozzles. And I think I want to use. I actually think I'm going to use this tool instead. See if I can get in there. Get in there. So these are, I don't know if I said it. I know I said these are Lumintop fluorescent tubes, but Lumintop's tubes are called Turbo Glow. And that is what these are. These are Turbo Glow, which is supposed to be really good stuff. You know, not like tritium. So these are one of those things where, you know, once I set this flashlight down in a room and I walk away, and I come back 30 minutes later, I mean, they're not going to be lit up by any means. But you know, still, it's a cool aesthetic. Tritiums are getting harder and harder to find. I know JLHawaii does have Jackson Lee. I know he does have some in his store. I'll just link him down below and you can go check out his store. I know he has tritiums, but he didn't have as many green ones as I wanted. But I'm thinking I'm going to pick up another custom light here pretty soon. And I want to do a polished titanium light. Yeah, it's hardening. I just keep going back and checking to make sure everything's hardening properly. You know, just to be on the safe side. I want to pick up like a polished titanium light and do kind of a polished titanium with like ice blue tritium. I think that would be cool. be a neat aesthetic. Okay. We'll do... Yeah, see, that one's kind of big. Let's see. Let's see. Will it make it in there? Not easily. Okay, so this one's gonna have to be cut a little, just a hair. One thing I will say about this epoxy is this particular brand, it's a little runny. Not like ungodly runny. Like, why did I buy this stuff runny? But it is a little runny. It's a hair runny. I need, what do I need? I need something to choppy chop just a sliver off of that. Okay. Too bad I don't have like a chopping board in here. Cutting board. I'll use... Oh, gosh. Just gonna take a little piece off of this. Alright. So let's see. I just pulled off a knife and just chopped it. Pulled out a knife and just did a little bit of chop. There we go. Okay. The warrior of choice, Kansept Shard. All right. There we go. Okay. Just gonna put a little bit on top just to make sure it's covered and smooth. Okay. Oops. And now we'll harden that one. Move this back into frame. Sorry, I don't get to look at the camera a whole lot whenever I'm doing this. So if I put it at a weird angle, I will correct it. My eyes are really on my hands while I'm doing this flashlight. And I will go back and hit these a little bit longer, but for, you know, just to make sure they're absolutely cured, I'll probably do like a curing outside in the sun. But this stuff really doesn't take that long to cure. Excuse me. I hear some people, I see some people on YouTube saying they're going to leave their light out in the sun for like 24 hours to cure in the sun. No, that's a little too much for me. I'll probably just put it outside for, I think even an hour is too long, but I'll probably just do an hour for like good measure. Just because I like everything to be perfect, or at least done right the first time. Okay. Let's see. Do I need to cut any more of these? At least not that one. Oh, that one jumped right in there. Okay. And I can see the epoxy on top of that one, so I'm not going to have to put any more on, I don't think. Let me just clean off a little bit of the excess here. Using my good old Civivi microfiber. Thank you, Civivi. Helping me out with my flashlight install. And, you know, let me know what you guys think about videos like this. I haven't really done any kind of flashlight mod videos. I don't know if everybody just wants product reviews, or if you're cool with like me doing stuff like this, like stuff that I like to do. So, you know, just trying to change it up a little bit. Just trying to have fun with it, you know. This is This is definitely a lot more fun than just opening up a box and talking about it. Sometimes depends on what it is, really. There's a lot of cool products that I get that I'm like, I cannot wait to get this on the table. And mainly because I unbox everything on camera, so I don't get to open it up and use it until I actually unbox it. So yeah, that's the creator life. I call myself a creator. I have deemed myself a creator. I know in the grand scheme of YouTube, I'm still a very small fish, but it's fun. I do enjoy it. I can already tell that one's going to be too long. I'm going to have to snippy that one. And so what I'm doing with the needle of this tube is I'm using it to make sure that all that epoxy is evenly distributed, because it doesn't really do it itself. I'm going to take this little glow stick and chop him, and I'm not going to do it on camera because I don't want to cut my mat, but all I'm doing is putting it down where I want to cut it and then just chopping it, and it cuts right through it. So let's cut it right there. Chop. All right. Now we'll slide him into place. Nice. We can see here, see how you can see the resin come up over top? So we're just going to make sure that it is evenly distributed. Looks like it is, but it's always best to be safe. You want that thing completely closed in. Let me get my resin out of the way, and then we'll hit them with the UV light. Let them cure for roughly 30 seconds. And then we'll put in the last one. We'll put the pocket clip back on, and then this should be done. And we'll just turn the lights off and take a look and see kind of what it looks like. That's the most exciting part, right? Seeing how it turns out after you're done. I know. I'm just as excited as you are. Jesus, words are hard today. I don't know what's going on. Maybe I'm dying. Take a sip of my Red Bull. Okay. And 'tis hard. 'Tis hard, sire. All right. Let's making sure that last little crevasse was clean. Okay. All right. Put some epoxy in this guy. This is kind of tedious, but this is extremely easy to do for anybody who's been wanting to do something like this. Extremely easy. Not daunting at all. And I'm not being facetious. This really is easy to do. There's not a whole lot to it. All right, so that one I'm going to chop just a hair. It's just a hair too long. And I'm going to put a little bit more epoxy in the hole once I chop it. So I'm just going to, yeah, just a fraction. And then gonna just do just a dab there. Okay. And then we'll drop this guy in. Okay. Make sure I wipe up any excess. That's important. You want to make sure you get the excess off because if it's sitting on the side of your light and you harden the epoxy, what do you think is going to happen? You're going to have epoxy on the side of your light. Not a good time. Okay. Make sure that's spread out. Okay. And I see just a little right there. Okay. All right. Lock it in. Lock it in. Shake the camera. Shake the camera. All right, cool. So that's done. And I think I got everything in there nice and sturdy. I'll go back and double check here in just a second. But once you lock these things in, they're kind of in there. You can get them out. You can dig them out of there, but once you do it, they're kind of there for life. All right. You see, I'm not using any kind of fancy UV machines, nothing like that. Just me and my little Olight. All of those look good. I can just see a hint of glare from the epoxy. I wish I'd have done this one a little different. I wish I'd have cut that one just a hair, but that's all right. It is a little shallow. Just a little shallow right there. Add just a hair. Yeah, okay. Groovy. Okay. Get ready to put our pocket clip back on. And then we will see what it looks like. That's the best part, right? Maybe not for you, but for me it is. Oops. I wasn't even putting it on there. Okay. That should be plenty. Yeah, feels good. Okay. So let's go ahead and reassemble Mr. Pocket Clip here. And these pocket clips are kind of a pain sometimes. Wouldn't be so bad, but my screwdriver, for whatever reason, isn't really magnetic anymore. And I have the magnetizer, and it's not working for it. So I don't know what the deal is. Anything to make my life a little bit harder. There we go. Okay. Make sure it's straight. Looks pretty straight. Looks pretty gosh darn straight. All right. There we go. Just hand tight those. Get all this junk out of the way. And let's take a look at what we got. Let me shut off at least one or two of these lights. Okay, so what we'll do, shut off all the lightings. And let me get the overhead light real fast. I've still got my blue lights on. Let's cut those too. There we go. Oh, cool. So here we go. Check that out. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we will turn this on for just a second. We'll get it real bright. And then I'm going to hit these. I'm going to hit these with the UV light. If you never knew why you needed a UV light, now you do. You need it for all kinds of things. All right. Look how cool. It only took us about 15-20 minutes. I probably could have did it quicker if I wasn't, you know, trying to do all this on camera. Turned out cool, right? Yeah, it did. Yeah, it did. I know it did. And this is the 0507 lens, so you can see here that it's more of a spot. I should have did it before and after of the beams. More of a spot than a flood. There's your crazy bright turbo. It makes them glow. It's cool, huh? Well, there we are. Turn the lighting back on. Let there be light. And I think that's going to wrap it up. That was just doing a little bit of light modding on the LM10. So if you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button and consider subscribing. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll catch you on the next one. Oh, let me know if you like this kind of content too. Super important. Just, you know, drop a comment down below. Thanks.